Hi everybody. I just want to do a little disclaimer for this video. When I watched it back during the editing process, I realized that I cried for about 70% of this video. But I assure you, most of these are very happy tears, just as I'm reflecting over everything that went on this year and the different ups and downs. Just really grateful for how God showed his love for me, and that he still answers prayers and he still cares for his people, and that he never leaves no matter what's going on or how crazy the world gets. So just know I am okay. I know it can look a little crazy sometimes. In fact, I'm just crying a lot, but I promise they're mostly good tears. And yeah, it was just reflecting on a good year, good things that happened in a challenging year, but I think it made it a good year. All right. Thanks for watching. See ya.
Today is Wednesday, December 23rd, going over 2020, and it's been such a crazy year. But I did talk last time about one of the things that I've loved most about this year, and I have been able to witness some friendships really flourishing in 2020. And to me, that makes all the difference. You know, like every Christian should be a part of a local church, should be known by people there, by their leadership, by people that are around them, and should know other people. You know, we need each other desperately. And I think one thing that people, I know I had a really hard time with in the whole quarantine lockdown was the whole COVID lockdown caused things to kind of be still. And it caused me to do a lot of reflection and to deal with a lot of issues in my heart and in my thinking and just in my life. And it was hard and ugly and not enjoyable. But I was able to walk in a place of more freedom and more confidence and more excitement about life in general. And I think, well, let me backtrack. Let me backtrack a little bit, because I feel there's so many pieces of this that my thoughts are a little bit unorganized. So a little history. I remember at a young age always looking for like that best friend, you know, like as if that was somehow going to validate me. And like, as long as there's one person in the room or one person in my corner who's got my back and who's down to ride, then I'm good. You know, like the whole world can think I'm a nerd. The whole world can think I'm corny. But like, if I just got one other corny person with me, I'm good to go. And I remember like years I would be looking, you know, like, and I remember being at college, and like what happened with me is, because I was always, or I found myself in these cycles of longing for friendship and longing to be validated by other people and their acceptance of me. It was in my head somehow that a person's opinion of me validated whether or not I was cool or worthy of love or friendship or whatever. And I think I just learned a lot of bad habits in relationships, insecurity and jealousy and just not knowing how to be a good friend, right? So that's the background. And some of these things I knew and was working on, and some of them I was in for a rude awakening. There were some patterns in my life that I'd been repeating, and just when I think now about some people that I know I've hurt, the relationships are like over and done with. I think it would do more harm to reach back out to the people and like, I guess, try to address things or whatever, you know, and I think it's best we went our separate ways. But I do often feel like, man, I wish I'd handled that differently. When I realize that I've hurt people I love, I feel so badly, you know, and I know that you can say sorry all day, but winning back someone's trust is really hard. It's really, really hard. And when someone feels like they let you in and you didn't appreciate who they were, or you made them feel bad about who they are, it's a hard thing to come back from, you know? I still have to say, I've had not a great history in friendships. And so I remember, I mean, there were years, I remember like in my journal writing, like crying out to God, like, I just want a best friend. Like, why can't I just have one, you know? And I'm learning now that, like, no one satisfies. No one is going to be that, like, perfect friend. A perfect friend does not exist. I have some great friends who I love immensely. Like, the love is deep, and I hope they know it. I try to communicate it often, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart. Yeah, I'm really grateful for the people that God lets me do life with. Especially, I think, because I know that I've not been great at friendships in the past, and so yeah, I'm grateful. I'm grateful, and I think one thing that's been so amazing this year is not only, like, it seemed to start out like in a negative place where God was really showing me through hard things that I was not a great friend, and by long conversations and feeling rejected and feeling alone and having to, like, really look at some things and hear some truths about myself that I did not want to hear, and then crying out to God, like, Lord, I need your help. Like, I need your help. I want to be a good friend. I want to love people well. And honestly, I really, when I tell you, like, it is one of the most beautiful things in the world to know that God hears our prayer. Like, I pray that never gets old, because I think about, He's answered so many prayers, and I don't mean answered like I got what I wanted, but I mean, sometimes it's a no, but it's what I need, you know? And just the fact that He hears, and He cares, and He knows me, and He loves me, and He wants the best for me. I reference, like, having a hard start to this whole pandemic, because in my mind at the time, I had lost two of my closest friends, and it was a really hard time. And they didn't die; they were still people that were, like, around, but we were out of fellowship, and I was, like, trying to adjust to a reality without them, and it was really hard. It was really hard, and I withdrew, and I just felt like I felt like trash, and I just wanted to just be trash by myself. So I didn't want to bother other people. I just wanted to get myself together, and it doesn't work like that, because, like I said, we're made for community. God made us for community, and it's in community that we find out some of our trashy ways, and it's in community that we can be helped and held accountable, and God makes healing possible, and I'm so grateful. I'm really grateful for the friendships that flourish in quarantine. You know, I hear about people who have gotten divorced and have broken up in quarantine, and I get it. You know, especially if you don't have Christ, in the midst of a whole pandemic and things being shut down, all these different things, I am so grateful for the people who would still let me come over, even when we sat outside. Like, one of my friends had a baby, and so the first few times, she would let me over. I would sit outside, and she would sit at her door, and I would sit a few feet away. And a couple of my friends have small children, and I think I've said this to all of you guys, but if not, and if you see this video, I hope you know I don't take lightly that in the middle of a pandemic, you would let me spend time with your family and hang out, and you thought it was important enough for our relationship to continue, you know? And that means a lot to me. My good friend Ikea, I've talked about her a lot, but we have to spend time together and talk. And I tell you, it's been so amazing. Like, it's been really good, and I'm so grateful. Like, I have a friend, Lydia, who I hang out with and love, but even my own sister, I got to spend some more time with her. And I remember, like, long walks with Tia, sitting out and talking for hours until the sun went down. We barely noticed, and now we're, like, running to get home because we're like, what are we doing? Like, we gotta go. I remember walking for hours and for miles in the woods, just talking, you know, sitting on couches and just being, encouraging each other, talking about the Lord, marveling at how He loves us. And my friend Amber, oh my goodness, can I tell you, like, that my standard for friendships has grown, has like, because I've just had such great reminders of God's love in my life this year. My friend Amber, we didn't even hang out a whole lot, but one day this pandemic, she was like, She just called me and was like, let's go tell people about Jesus. And so we did. Like, we started going for walks in the park, and we would just tell people about Jesus. If it was rainy, we would go to a store and go and offer to pray for people. And it was great. We would we would talk in the car on the way there and the way back. We'd pray together. My encouragement for anybody who's watching who may feel alone or may feel like they don't know. So I'll talk to you first if you feel like you're alone. One, I would encourage you to, if you don't know Jesus, get to know Jesus. Because then you know you're not alone, right? That's number one. And then also let him work on your heart. Let him help you. Let him help heal your heart from different issues. You know, like maybe you're a trash friend or you have trashy tendencies, and he can help heal you. And he can help bring you around other people who can show you and who can encourage you as you're healing and as you're growing in that area. And then join a church. I know it's, a pandemic, but there's a lot of churches that are virtual. Our church is virtual. We meet via Zoom. We do FaceTime calls and things like that. So if you're interested, please let me know. I can send you the information for the church. But yeah, I would also say if you are a Christian, you definitely should have a church home. But again, let me know if you don't, or if your church isn't meeting, and I'd be happy to send you the Zoom information. Oh, yeah, if you're saved and you have a church and you're not sure how to build better relationships, I would encourage you, first of all, to remember that the thing you have in common is Christ, and to build your relationship off of that. I know for me, I had to peel back the layers from some other friendships and be like, okay, but the foundation here is not Christ. And so we need to work on this because I want this friendship to last. And if it's going to last and be good and God honoring, then we got to switch some things up. We got to change what this friendship is based on. So if you're in that place, I encourage you. I know I'm grateful. A few of my friends from church will have a weekly meeting where we read the Bible for an hour or so and just go through. We talk about it. We encourage each other, how we're going to live this out, how we're going to study it. I have other friends who I recently just text, listen, straight up, these are my issues. These are the things that I already know are not in order. And I would love it if you could pray with me about this. Give me any insight you have. We can talk about this. We can look up verses about this. I need your help. Just being honest and open, hey. And then also being willing to help others sometimes. I think another way to build those relationships is look for ways to serve. If you have a friend or someone who you'd like to build a relationship with, and maybe they need help, look for ways that you can help them, to serve them, to just do things out of love. I would also say, maybe I should have said this first, to pray. Pray, talk to the Lord about friends. Let the Lord work in your heart, and then let him lead you to people who you can love on, And yeah, I can't overstate the importance of letting God work on your heart, because you want to make sure when you offer that love, it's not tainted with any other impure motive or any sort of lust or any sort of usury or whatever, but it's a genuine and sincere love and desire for their highest good. And just to encourage you, first of all, God is the reward. He is the best. And I think that's something I've really been able to hold on to. It's not that the people in my life magically got better. I think it's that I grew up in some ways, and I also recognize God satisfies, God fulfills me, God sustains me, God keeps me. He is passionately in love with me every day. He loves to spend time with me. He loves to hear from me. He loves to speak to me. He loves when we spend time together, And when the more I meditate on that, the less likely I am to go looking for love in a romantic relationship, or to feel like my followers or who supports me validates me. I am validated by God, because every moment I'm living, there's a moment that there's a purpose for me. He's got a plan for my life, and that's amazing. That's amazing. So anyway, if any of you out there are like that or have been through the things I've been through, God can make friendships flourish in a quarantine. Thank you for listening. Oh, I started with this mug because, first of all, can you see? This is from The Office, which, if you've been paying attention, is my favorite show in the world. And this mug was a gift from my friend Njeri, who's, I think I've talked about this before, the fashion analyst, or the Hungry John. And she's got YouTube pages and Instagram, so I'll tag her here in this too. But she bought me a Just Because gift. I guess this video is multi-purpose. I made it because I wanted to just testify about the goodness of God in the middle of a pandemic, to honor the prayers of a lonely little girl, and give me friends who love me and who love him and who want me to grow in him, and then to testify about my amazing community. That's a whole other story. I'm going to do a whole other video about just church and my attitude towards church, and how I've come to realize how wrong I was about church, and just how important church is. That'll be a whole other video. But thank you to Injuri for this mug. It means so much. It was just so sweet. I know, it's so nerdy. I'm such a crier, but yeah. It was like the icing on, honestly, I've been meaning to this video for a while, but when Injuri stopped by with this mug, and it was just because. It was just really nice. So anyway, I gotta go because I've hijacked my sister's room as I'm at her house for the holiday, and I would let her rest. So thank you for listening. If you're out there, thank you for being my friend. And if you need a friend, let me know. If you need a church home, let me know. I'm happy to pray for you. I'm happy to pray with you. I'm happy to send you some church information. But in the middle of a pandemic, we can still thrive. We can still flourish. And it's because of God. So anyway, thanks for listening. You guys have a good night. Bye.